in the middle of a run, and I found just this beautiful, beautiful place in Rouse's Point, New York. I'm out on these breakers, and I'll take some pictures of them, but hope you're doing well. Today, I'm out here, and I'm listening to this podcast, and it's talking about, I'm in the middle of this run, and I'm listening to this podcast, and he was talking about this story in Mark where Jesus had spoken to the crowds the night before, and then the next morning he goes off to try and find a quiet place to kind of hang. And his disciples are running around looking for him, and they finally find him. And they say, Jesus, like, everybody's looking for you. What's going on? And he's like, well, where are we going next? And it's a really interesting story because Jesus, like, he gave to them last night, and then the next morning he's ready to move on to the next place. And I'm in the middle of this tour right now, and we just finished 3 nights. I've got today kind of off. We're doing Monday night worship tonight, and then tomorrow I've got another show, and then I drive to Maine. But it's interesting how Jesus knew, like, as he was rolling around and doing his thing, like, he knew that he gave to them last night, and he gave to them the night before, and he knew that he needed a day off, or at least a minute to just stop and reconnect with his Father. And I think so many times we get so lost and wrapped up in all of our lives that we forget that we need time to just stop and spend time with God. And it's interesting because, you know, I call myself a follower of Jesus. And, you know, we get so lost in, like, the world just continues to say, go, 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 right? It doesn't give us time to stop. It always says you gotta go for the next thing. You gotta do the next thing. You gotta be in the next place. You gotta just keep going. It reminds me of that song, that old disco band, Andrea True Connection. It just said, more, more, more. How do you like it? How do you like it? More, more, more. You know, there's just more. There's always the next thing. And, you know, I call myself a follower of Jesus. And yet, there's so many things that I need to continue to work on. And one of them is time management. Like, here's an example from my rabbi, right? The guy that I'm following, he takes time to literally just stop and reconnect with the Father. And I don't do that enough. And here, the question in this devotion is, do you do that enough? Is it always about more? Is it always about trying to find more, trying to get to the next thing, you know? We need to just stop and let God move in our hearts and in our lives. And sometimes we get so distracted and so caught up in the next thing, the stuff that we can't stop, maybe even control, that we kind of forget that God's in the midst of it. And it gives me pause and just makes me want to stop and say, oh, right, God, you taught us multiple times, all over the place. Jesus sets an incredible example for us of, yeah, you gotta stop. You gotta just slow down and let God in. yeah, there's work. We have to work. There's no way around it. But what happens when we just get so burned out that we don't even know what to do, where to do it, how to do it, who to do it with, all this stuff. And God continues to say, I want you to rest in me. I am your strength. I am your shield. All of this stuff that he keeps just delivering to us, and we keep pushing it away. We're like, no, God, I think I got it. I think I'm good. And then we get to a breaking point where we're just like, wait a minute, I am not good. I am a mess. And then we just fall on our knees and we're like, oh, Father, help me now. Meanwhile, we could have been all along resting in his strength and his comfort and his hope and his all the stuff that he gives to us, and been pacing it the right way to make it work in our lives. So I don't know where you're at, but we're walking through the book of Matthew right now, and if we're gonna say, yeah, we're gonna be disciples of Jesus, then we gotta really, like, Matthew's a book on discipleship. It's like a handbook on discipleship. And if we say we're gonna follow Jesus, we gotta keep following. And one of the things that he did was he would stop and he would rest and he would reconnect with his Father alone. He wouldn't be out with a bunch of people, like going to church and all that's all good, worship, concerts, stuff, great. But there has to be time when we just spend time alone with him. And this is a beautiful place to do it. I mean, you can see what's happening right behind me here. It's an incredible place to do it. So I kind of got wrapped up in, I've listened to like 10 minutes of that podcast. I'll listen to the rest as I run back to where I'm going. But I just got wrapped up in that thought of just like, wow, like, yeah, I am so guilty of that. I'm guilty of not letting God in all the time. And I don't know where you're at, but I'm going to throw this word out again because it's so important. But we have to surrender. We have to learn more faith and more trust. And as we have more faith and as we have more trust, our Father can, I think, do more in us, through us, and with us. And it's a hard lesson to learn, right? I'm not going to say it's easy because we're so stubborn, and the world just continues to tell us, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. We live in this culture of go, 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 go. And yet our Father is saying, wait, stop. More. No, I don't think so. More of Jesus, more of Jesus, more of Jesus. Yeah, that I think I can get into. So, I don't know where you're at with this, but it's a convicting little walk on the rocks that I've had here. And the peacefulness of these waves just butting up against the rocks here, and there's a couple of fish jumping out over here, and it's just like there are so many passages in the Bible that talk about the peace of God which transcends all understanding and how we're supposed to have that in our lives. And yet, do you? Does that peace, do you find that peace? Like, that's a good question to ask yourself. Do I find peace in the Father? Or is my life just 100 miles an hour all the time? I don't know. These are good questions. Good questions to ask. So I challenge you today. Like, we release these on Saturdays. I say this often. But we release them on Saturday because I know that a lot of people are off on Saturdays. Like, there's a lot of folks that don't have to work on Saturday and just have a minute to just stop and spend some time with God. So maybe today, if you got a place like this around your house, awesome. If you got a natural, like a state park or something, just go off on your own. Find some time, sit on a park bench or something, and just spend some time with God. Let him just recharge your soul, recharge your heart, recharge your mind. Like these, I've said this before, like these moments of even just talking about this into this camera, it just lets me think more about who God is in my life and how do I want him. It's kind of silly to say that. How do I want him to work in my life? You know, it's more like, hey, let me surrender so that God can work the way that he wants to work in my life, right? Yeah. And if you're so compelled, break out your camera and talk to it, just like this. And I'm guaranteeing you that you'll say stuff that you'll be like, wait a minute, that's not right. This is what I need to do. So, anyway, this is a cool little scene here. And I just wanted to talk about this because it's so important in our lives to just let God in, let him speak to us, stop, slow down, be still, and just let him move in our hearts and move in our souls so that then we can recharge and go. I was just reading in Matthew this morning, you know, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. We need to be able to recharge so that we can go do the work. You know, we've had 3 incredible shows in the past couple of days. Shows where people just came out that we had no idea were going to be there. And at the end of the nights, they were just saying, I needed this so badly tonight. And I didn't do anything, you know, special. I just did what I do. And I let God speak through the lyrics, through the music, just through the moments where we're just giving people an hour, 90 minutes to just spend some time with God. Like, that's such an important thing to do. So maybe you need that time today. I don't know. But I do want to bring it all back around to faith and trust. Go read the first 8 chapters of Matthew, and you'll get a real lesson in faith and trust, you know. The blind man being healed because he had faith. And Jesus said, do you have faith that I can heal you? And he was like, yeah. And Jesus was like, okay, you're healed. Yeah. Faith that he can raise the dead. I mean, this one guy said, Jesus, you don't even have to go to my house. Just say the word, and she will be raised. It's faith. What kind of faith do we have? What kind of faith do you have? What kind of trust? This isn't a guilt trip. It's just retuning who you are and what your walk is like with God. To just analyze your faith. Just, you know, maybe the prayer for the next couple of days or the week is, God, give me more faith, give me more trust, help me surrender more. It's a powerful, powerful prayer to pray every once in a while. Or maybe every day. I don't know. I like coming out and getting to places like this because I can really just stop and think and let God speak. Let him minister to me. And then we can all think about it a little more. Because we're a community. We're a bunch of people trying to be drawn closer and closer to Jesus. If you're watching this, you're part of our community, so thank you. But God's speaking to me just like he's speaking to you. And maybe in the comments, just tell me what he's saying to you. Tell me what he's talking about to you. It's different than what he's talking about to me. But I just got convicted today by this because I know that so many of us, we get so caught up in the world and the more of it all, and God's saying, I don't think that's it. I think it's just more of me, right? God wants for us to surrender more of us to more of him. So today, do that. Take a little stock and a little inventory in your faith and your trust, and just let God move in your heart. Open up your heart and let him in. Open up the doors just a little bit and just see what he brings into your life. Sound good? Sounds good to me. So I'm going to take a few pictures, and sorry if I was rambling a little bit, but I think it's healthy to do this every once in a while. And just to go find some time today to just spend some time with God. And thanks for being here today. Thanks for being in our community. If you want to join us, like really join us, support all we're doing, head over to joindaysband.com. And you can get involved in our devotions every day and our Bible studies every week, and create communities that go out into other communities and change lives. That's what we're doing up here today in Rouse's Point this week. It's pretty amazing. But let God in. Pray that prayer. God, give me more trust, give me more faith. Help me to surrender more and see what happens. All right, guys, we'll see you on the next one. Did I say? Oh, I don't think I mentioned. Head over to joindavesband.com. That's where we need you to go to become part of our community. What a great one. Great day. All right, take care. We'll see you on the next one.